Recently I was at the proctologist. For those of you who don't know what that is, congratulations. A proctologist is a doctor, but for your butthole. And I was at the proctologist because I had hemorrhoids. And if you haven't had hemorrhoids before, hemorrhoids are like the pain and frustration of stubbing your toe on a door, and then you mix that with the embarrassment and sadness of opening that door to seeing your parents having sex in your bed, and then you put all that into your butt and walk around. And like, you know when people like injure something stupid like their pinky, they're like, oh, you never realized how much you use your pinky until you hurt it. That's true as fuck, because walking is like 90 to 93% butthole, which I found out.
The legs are involved, but there's a lot of butthole that goes into it. So I was at the proctologist's office, you know, I'm sitting there trying to psych myself up for what's about to go down. And I can't decide if I want a male or female doctor. Not that I have a choice, but, you know, I'm just trying to gear up. Because on the one hand, I didn't want to expose a woman to what was going on in my butt right then, or ever. But I also had this, a guy has never been in my butt streak on the line that I was pretty psyched about. And no joke, I was a altar boy for 3 years. So it was a legitimate streak. I had earned that streak. So I'm sitting in there, you know, pretty nervous, and an Indian man walks in. And for whatever reason, I'm instantly relieved by that. I don't know what kind of racism that is, but I was so happy to see that he was an Indian guy. So he bends me over, and his fingers go into my butt. So the streak was over, but it was a good run. You know, streaks are made to be broken. And so he's in there for what seems like a pretty good long time. And he goes, do not be nervous, you are nervous. This procedure does not work if you are nervous. And he's a professional, so he knows a confident butthole from a nervous one. So he's trying to loosen up. He's like, do not be embarrassed. You are the second man today I've seen with hemorrhoids. And you know, because all the world's a stage, I decided to make a joke to lighten the room. And I was like, I bet you say that to everybody. And he didn't get that I was joking, so he's like, no, seriously, it was like I meant to do it. And then it all clicked for him when he repeated it, and it was like it was the first joke he's ever heard, or maybe the first time anyone's joked while a guy was, you know, doing that. And he just starts cackling. He's like, oh, you say second, I say second, then you just second, then you... Okay, that's very funny, that's very funny. And I don't know if you guys have ever had a man cackle while inside your butt before, but it is flattering. The point of the story is, if you need a good butthole guy, I know somebody. That's great, that's good work. I don't eat healthily, and I think that's why I'm sick a lot. I drink a lot of soda, I get a lot of shit for it. I think disproportionately to like other bad shit that's bad for you. I love soda, love it. Drink like 3 a day, at least. And I decided to have a social experiment, you know, just to prove my point, that I get too much blame. So I'd be like, man, I'm out at work right now, but I'm trying to get drunk. People are like, yeah, I got some right now, let's do it. Man, cocaine is too goddamn expensive, right? Did you guys ever think about doing heroin, like, ever? I'll do anything once. But the minute I'm like, man, I can use a soda. Soda's super bad for you. Have you ever heard of high fructose corn syrup? Because it's bad. Like, what the fuck? Like, I saw you steal a woman's purse the other night because you had vomited it. Mr. Pitt had nothing to fucking do. I went to public school, MPS my whole life, Milwaukee public school. Y'all know. I loved MPS. MPS was great. But I do feel like MPS gets, as you guys, you know, the clappers know, it gets a bad rap because it's great. And, you know, people will ask me, like, people, I need someone to have my back. You know, and people will ask me, like, what was MPS like? I mean, I'm pretty sure it was like most other schools, you know? Except there were times where I'd be sitting in class, or it would come to me, I'd be like, I bet this shit does not happen at most schools. And the best personification of that is the power of a bee to destroy a whole public school classroom. What happens is you're sitting there, and the teacher's, you know, it's hot. The teacher's talking about his union or God knows what.
And all of a sudden you see a dash out of the corner of your eye, and you know it's about to go down. All of a sudden there's a shriek. Fuck that! It's a wops in here! It's a wops right there! That's how my uncle died! And the teacher's been through this many times before. He's like, Charisse, it's fine, just get off the desk, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. But he's powerless in this scenario, and everyone knows it. Because you can't punish somebody for being scared of something. So she's on her desk, but she's also set a precedent. So then I get on my desk and I start swearing because who wouldn't want to do that? So it's like, yeah, fuck titties, wops. And so this catches on, right? So then everyone in the class is on their desk. And it's kind of like a fucked up public school version of Dead Poet Society. But instead of quoting like Waltman, everyone's just like fucking yelling at a bug. And the best part is there's always two white kids in this scenario. The first white kid is like, don't kill it, it's not even a wasp, it's a honeybee. They're going in danger, leave it alone. It's more afraid of it than you are, man. Fuck you, Tommy, it's my joke, damn business. And he's pretty devastated, and she's like, I'm allergic to that shit. If you're allergic, then where's your EpiPen? What the fuck is that EpiPen? I got a gel pen. Mr. Shasitsky don't like it, but it's pink and I do. And then the best part is the second white kid, who you didn't even realize was in the class in the first place. He sits at the back of the class, he's quiet, except for in the B scenario, where he comes out of fucking nowhere with the biggest book you've ever seen and just murders the shit out of it. It's the loudest sound you've ever heard, and everyone just feels like they had taken it too far because they had driven this man to commit one of the most egregious acts they've ever seen. And you always know when there was a bee in a previous classroom because iRobot's queued up because the previous class got nothing done. It's super hot because all the windows are closed. I abruptly stopped my set. Thank you.
Joe Riley, everybody!